Princess Vilera of the Kashari Dominion had been insulted many times in her life, but this was deliberate. She stood at the edge of the hangar bay, tall and radiant in ceremonial armor of living crystal, watching the delegation from Earth finish their formal introductions. The Kashari were an ancient, elegant species, evolved on a world of low gravity and delicate ecosystems. Strength, to them, was measured in intelligence, lineage, and political finesse, not brute endurance. Which was why the human standing 3 steps behind her irritated her so deeply. "That is my escort?" Vilera asked coldly, her voice carrying just enough to wound. "This one." The human, tall, dark-haired, wearing simple gray armor without insignia, did not react. He stood at ease, hands folded behind his back, eyes scanning the hangar with quiet attention. "Yes, Your Radiance," the ambassador replied. "Sergeant Jonah Hale. Former Terran infantry. Extensive experience in hostile environments." Vilera flicked her gaze over him dismissively. No ceremonial markings. No visible weapons beyond a compact sidearm. No show of deference beyond the bare minimum. "Humans," she said, turning away. "Deathworld brutes. I requested a strategist, not a walking liability." Jonah said nothing. That, more than anything, annoyed her. The diplomatic convoy departed the station within the hour, bound for the moon city of Eshkara, where Vilera would finalize a fragile peace treaty with 3 rival factions. The route was considered secure. Jonah did not believe that for a second. "Your Highness," he said quietly as the transport cruised through folded space, "I recommend altering our arrival schedule." Vilera didn't look at him. "I do not take advice from hired muscle." "Yes," Jonah replied evenly. "Then I'll phrase it as an observation. We're being tracked." That got her attention. She turned sharply. "Impossible. Our cloaking is calibrated for Kashari tech," Jonah finished. "Not for independent stealth arrays. Whoever's following us isn't using your systems." The pilot confirmed it seconds later. Vilera's mandibles tightened. "Assassins." "Most likely," Jonah said. "And if I'm right, they'll hit us planetside." Crowds. Confusion. She studied him, searching for arrogance, fear, or exaggeration. Found none. "Very well," she said. "Speak." Eshkara was beautiful. Floating spires drifted above crystalline lakes. Bioluminescent gardens glowed beneath translucent domes. It was a place of art, diplomacy, and vulnerability. Vilera descended the ramp with practiced grace, her honor guard fanning out around her. Jonah walked behind her again, unassuming, almost invisible. Almost. He felt the first assassin before he saw them. A pressure shift. A sound out of place. Jonah moved. A blade meant for Vilera's spine buried itself in Jonah's shoulder instead. He didn't cry out. He grabbed the attacker's wrist, twisted, and drove his elbow into the alien's throat with brutal precision. The assassin collapsed without a sound. Chaos erupted. Vilera spun, shock flaring through her bioluminescent markings as more figures emerged from the crowd, cloaked, armed, fast. 12, Jonah muttered. Confirmed. Before the honor guard could react, Jonah pushed Vilera behind a crystal column. Stay. Do not move. I command. A plasma bolt scorched the air where her head had been. Vilera froze. Jonah stepped forward alone. What followed would later be described in council reports as a statistical impossibility. Jonah moved like gravity itself, inevitable and unforgiving. He used the environment with lethal creativity, shattering crystal to create blinding light bursts, hurling attackers into low-gray fountains where their own momentum betrayed them. One assassin lunged from above. Jonah caught them mid-air, slammed them into the deck, and snapped their neck with a single twist. Another fired from range. Jonah rolled, came up firing once. The shot pierced the assassin's eye ridge. 5 down. 6. 7. Blood, human and alien, spattered the pristine plaza. Jonah's shoulder burned. His ribs screamed. He ignored it all. An assassin reached Valeera's hiding place. Jonah saw it. He crossed the distance in seconds, taking a blade through his thigh without slowing. He grabbed the assassin's head and smashed it against the crystal column until it stopped moving. The last 2 tried to flee. Jonah didn't let them. When the silence finally settled, 12 bodies lay still. Jonah stood alone, breathing hard. Then he collapsed to one knee. Valeera emerged slowly, her world forever altered. The plaza was ruined. Her guards stared in stunned disbelief. And the human she had dismissed, bleeding, wounded, still alert, looked up at her. "Threat neutralized," Jonah said. "You're safe." She approached him, her steps unsteady. You took the blows meant for me," she said softly. "That's the job," Jonah replied. "No," she said, kneeling beside him. "That is not duty. That is devotion." Medical teams rushed forward, but Valeera raised a hand, stopping them. She looked Jonah in the eyes. "You were silent when I insulted you," she said. "Why?" Jonah shrugged weakly. "Didn't seem important." Her mandibles trembled. "Everything about you was important. I was simply too blind to see it." Jonah survived. Human physiology and stubbornness saw to that. In the days that followed, the story spread across the Dominion. Footage leaked. Analysts replayed it frame by frame. 12 elite assassins, neutralized by 1 human escort. Valeera watched the recordings alone, again and again. She saw the moment Jonah stepped between her and death without hesitation. She saw herself, frozen, helpless. And she felt something unfamiliar. Humility. When Jonah was cleared to walk, Valeera summoned him to the Moon Garden, a place reserved only for royalty. "You may speak freely here," she said. He hesitated. "Then I'll say this. You underestimated humans. A lot of species do." "Yes," Valeera said. "And I nearly paid for it with my life." She stepped closer. "I was taught that strength must be graceful," she continued. "But you showed me another kind. One that endures. One that protects without recognition." Jonah met her gaze. "We call it looking out for each other." Valeera inclined her head, a deep, formal gesture of respect. "Then allow me to correct my error," she said. "I no longer see you as worthless, Sergeant Hale." A faint smile touched his lips. "Good to hear." "I see you," she finished, "as indispensable." The treaty was signed. The assassinations ended. And the legend of the human escort spread far beyond Eshkara. But for Valeera, the story was not about death. It was about the moment she learned that the quiet human behind her was not a liability, but the strongest shield she had ever known.